Good evening. President Bush is planning to launch a bold new mission to take man into space. The plan, which will be announced in detail next week, is to build a space station on the moon as a stepping stone to put an astronaut on Mars. Experts say it'll be hugely expensive and take more than a decade, if it can be done at all. Matt Fry reports.
This is Mission Control, Houston.
February the 1st, 2003, just 11 months ago.
Communications were lost with the Space Shuttle Columbia at approximately 8 a.m. Central Time.
The Columbia disintegrates over Texas. In Houston, they're lost for words. Amid the wreckage, America's space program was in disarray. NASA's prospects looked bleak. What a difference a year makes. On Saturday, a successful unmanned mission to Mars. And next week, the president will announce plans for a manned mission to the Red Planet, as well as a permanent human presence on the moon.
I think this is a historic step to set out a plan that will take decades to achieve and will move people on a permanent basis off the surface of this planet, begin the process of making humanity a multi-planet species, is certainly a watershed point in history.
Another attempt in a week of electioneering to make history. But as President Bush leaves Washington tonight, he also knows someone else proposed something similar and money killed it. On these very steps in 1989, President Bush Sr. made a rather significant announcement, didn't he?
He invoked Columbus, as they always do, and said, like Columbus, we dream of shores we've never seen. And went on to propose a return to the moon and then on to Mars. And that lasted until they got a cost estimate.
The National Air and Space Museum, the most visited in the world, and a natural mecca for all opinions.
It's an interesting idea, and one which I think in the wake of the current war is rather problematic because of the cost of the war itself.
I think it's a great idea to land someone on the moon. Well, no matter what it costs.
It's a very exciting idea, but I'm also very concerned about the economics of it.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Rocket
35 years ago, America made history. Can and will they do it again?
Beautiful, just beautiful.
This president just loves to be bold, whether it's immigration reform, foreign policy, healthcare, or now outer space. And when it comes to spending, well, this time one can honestly say that not even the sky's the limit. Matt Fry, BBC News, Washington.
Setting up a manned base on the moon will be difficult enough, but sending man to Mars will require scientists to overcome enormous technical obstacles. So can they do it? Here's our science correspondent David Shookman.
So once again we have an American president with an eye on Mars. But how would the mission work? Well, the first step would be to go back to the moon as a stepping stone. Apollo 17 in the early 70s was the last mission there. This time they'd need to build a base as a kind of dry run for the far harder task of surviving on Mars. That would involve constructing something like the International Space Station, but on the surface of the moon. At the same time, robot spacecraft like NASA's Spirit rover on Mars right now would pave the way for humans. They'd produce fuel and oxygen on Mars before anyone gets there. Former astronauts believe it's possible.
Well, if the president does make that announcement about having some new frontiers of possible Mars trip and making a permanent station on the moon, I think that's great. I think that we need a definite direction from the administration so that NASA can go forward.
America has shown it can rise to this kind of challenge if there's the will. It's launched huge initiatives before, though never quite on this scale. Getting people to Mars would be the most difficult space mission ever attempted and by far the most dangerous. So, is it remotely feasible? The first challenge is getting off the ground. The shuttle is all America's got, and since the Columbia crash, the fleet's out of action. And a Mars spacecraft isn't even on the drawing board. Then there's the hazard of the long journey, at least 6 months each way. The sun's radiation could prove lethal beyond the Earth's magnetic field. Life support requires a heavy cargo of food, water and oxygen, and no one knows the mental limits, what astronauts can stand. Once on Mars, they'd have to survive this barren landscape. Even robotic spacecraft find it dangerous, as the scientists behind the Beagle 2 mission know all too well.
Mars is a very difficult place to go to. It's very easy after the third pint in the pub, but in reality, 2/3 of all the missions have failed.
Yet the vision of a human colony on Mars does have support, but if it ever happens, it'll cost far more than going to the moon ever did. In the end, the moon missions were cut short. Americans wondered why they were paying. Ultimately, any Mars mission would beg the question of who benefits, scientists and the public or the politicians?
David Shookman reporting. The BBC television presenter Robert Kilroy's Silk has apologised for remarks he made about Arabs in a newspaper column last Sunday. In the article, he referred to them as suicide bombers and women repressors. Tonight, he said he greatly regretted the offence which had been caused. The BBC has taken his morning chat show, Kilroy, off the air while it investigates the comments. Nick Hyam reports.
Is the problem, though, deeper than the police force? Is Britain still racist?
Robert Kilroy Silk 6 weeks ago on his daily discussion show. The topic, racism. Now the man himself's been accused of racism after this article in the Sunday Express, all about Arabs and Arab states. What do they think we feel about them, he asked. That we adore them for the way they murdered more than 3,000 civilians on September the 11th and then danced in the hot, dusty streets to celebrate the murders? That we admire them for being suicide bombers, limb amputators, women repressors? I don't think the Arab states should start a debate about what's really loathsome. The response, outrage. The chairman of the Commission for Racial Equality referred the article to the police.
It referred to Arabs 12 times effectively as murderers and suicide bombers. Not just some Arabs, but all Arabs. That's not provocation. That is ignorance. It is abuse. It is offensive, and I think probably it is illegal.
An article like this, with its sweeping attack on all Arabs, might have been controversial at any time, but it's especially sensitive now in the wake of the Hutton inquiry. The BBC's just issued new guidelines banning its journalists from writing on controversial topics for the newspapers. The fear that opinionated articles might make people question whether the programmes those journalists appear in are impartial, as they're meant to be.
The BBC needs to be seen to be impartial. How, for example, could Robert Kilroy Silk conduct a morning show discussion on race relations in Britain?
Kilroy. Now the BBC suspended the Kilroy programme while it investigates.
We welcome the news. I think not just the Arab and the Muslim community, but the much larger community will be relieved that an important institution like the BBC has taken this issue very seriously.
The Sunday Express condemned the BBC move as an overreaction and accused the BBC of gagging free speech. Nonetheless, Robert Kilroy Silk has now apologised, and he says he regrets any offence. The article was anyway reprinted by mistake and out of context. It originally appeared without any outcry last April. Nick Hyam, BBC News.
America has lowered its